What's going on, guys? Nick Foy here with FoyGolfAcademy.com, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to hit the low punch shot when you're in the woods. So let's just say we're playing a par 4, it's got trees down both sides of the hole and they sit about 250, 240, so it's reachable with your driver. So you pull out driver, you smash one, it starts hooking on you, next thing you know you found yourself in the woods. So now you've got a shot coming out of the woods that you're trying to get to the green. You're about 150, 155 out from the green. So what I've done today, I've got my 7-iron here. This would probably be my club of choice to hit a 150-yard low line drive punch shot out of the woods. So we're gonna set up to our golf ball. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on a face-on demonstration before I go ahead and hit one. But if this is normally where we place the ball, you know, middle of our stance here, ball slightly forward of middle for our 7-iron. So we've got our feet about shoulder width apart, maybe slightly wider than shoulder width to give us a little more stability. So this would be kind of my normal setup, you know. I've got a normal neutral grip on the club. Now for this low punch shot that we're trying to run through the woods and get up back to the fairway or onto the green, we're gonna move the ball back in our stance more. So now it's a little bit further back, and then we're gonna kind of have our normal setup with our club, more in the middle of our stance, but this is going to cause the club shaft now to lean forward a little bit. So a little more forward lean than normal, so the club's not so much upright. It's just kind of, you know, our natural hand position hanging down. Our shoulders, our arms are hanging down in the middle between the middle of our stance. And so by keeping our hands here, this automatically kind of brings that shaft forward a little bit more by having the ball back in our stance. So this is going to shut down the face a little bit more. Also, having it further back in our stance is going to help us have a contact point in the back of our stance. So when we make this swing, our swing's going to bottom out back here. So by having the ball move back, that's where our swing bottoms out. That's going to have better crisp contact than if we tried to keep the ball in the middle of our stance and have that forward shaft lean. Now when we take that swing, again, we're bottoming out back here in the back of our stance. We would be chunking, you know, missing the ball if it wasn't moved back. So move the ball back in your stance, shaft lean forward a little bit, close that face a little bit, and then we're just going to take a low backswing. So instead of coming up high quickly, try to drag that club back at a lower swing. By keeping it low, that's going to help you hit that shot low. All right, so let's go ahead and do a down the line shot now. So again, putting this ball more towards the back of my stance. And I'm going to keep the swing low, so I'm going to have my club take away low, and when I come back to the ball, I'm going to drive the hands forward to get that club shaft angled. That's going to keep the face closed. It's going to keep it kind of like a low punchy shot here. So let's go ahead and hit one and see how we do. All right, so that one came out nice and low, carried about 130 yards, and then we got about 20 yards of roll afterwards. So that would have been one of those nice line drive punches that lands back in the fairway and continues rolling about 20, 25 yards until it gets to the front of the green or into the rough up by the front of the greens. All right, so again, setting the ball back of our stance here, just keeping those hands low on the takeaway, coming down at a steep angle of attack to try to just punch that thing low. Beautiful. So that one again, nice low shot there. Carried about 130 yards again, and then we're gonna get about 20, 25 yards of roll afterwards. All right, so spend some time working on this golf drill on the range. Grab a 7-iron, move the ball in the back of your stance, and just work on hitting some low punch shots for about 10 to 15 shots out of your range bucket, and start to get a feel for how the club interacts with the ball and how you need to position your hands more forward when they come down through impact to try to keep that low kind of line drive shot. If your hands are more neutral or back behind the ball, that's going to cause loft on the club and that's going to pop the ball up. So by having those hands more forward, that's going to keep that shaft angle bent forward, and that's going to keep that ball low when you're doing your punch shot.